meeting to order. Item B, roll call and record names of members present.
Linda Runner.
Here.
Robert Powell.
Here.
John Tice.
Here.
Frank Kellogg.
Here.
Joe Coster.
Here. Item C is our pledge of allegiance. Ms. Dixon, would you recognize our presenter tonight?
So I want to give a little bit of, I like to introduce a little bit in case people don't know who Kate is, but this is Kate Schick. He's an 8th grade student at LMS. He's the son of Wade and Misty Schick, who are fantastic family in our community. He's involved in football, swim, and track, and GSA is kind of a big event for him. And he just recently was at regionals and got first place in leadership and first place in strategy. So we're really excited for him to do the pledge. And also just let you know that on occasion he gets to grace us with his radio personality on the intercom when he does our morning announcement. So I'm hoping that that comes out today.
Okay, we're glad you're here. Would you lead us in our pledge?
Yes, sir. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Section 2 is our presentations. Item A, something that's been a long time coming. Item A is our board presentation to former board member Brian Wigington and Linda Runner in recognition for their years of service to Oologah-Talala Public Schools. Before we make presentation, I would like to open the floor to one of our fellow board members that would like to express your appreciation and fond memories and maybe share some tears. But if any of you guys would like to mention a word of appreciation to both Brian and Linda for their years of service. My tears towards Brian are not necessarily good tears.
I'll start, I guess. I didn't have anything prepared to know we were actually going to speak on this, but I'll just be brief. It honestly has been an honor to serve with both of you guys. You guys have just served with integrity, and yeah, it's been an honor to serve beside you guys. Literally beside you. That's going to be strange. It's okay, but yeah, you guys are greatly appreciated.
Well, I will add to that, saying that it's been a pleasure to work with both of you over the years, and I know we went through some experiences that we probably don't choose to want to go through again and things, but through it all, we had some really great outcomes. The district has flourished over the years, I believe, is continuing to build, and a lot of that is attributable to the support and the belief that you all had in this district and the way that you all bring it about, and I appreciate that very much.
I echo those sentiments too. And I would also say thank you to your families, just because there's times that this job requires a little extra, like a 2 o'clock in the morning school board meeting. But Brian, thank you for your just faithful service to the years to our community. And I mean, you took me under my wing early and mentored me. And Linda, I mean, you have just been a staple in this community for years. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say both. Say thank you.
I'm the new guy, and I just want to thank Brian for helping me get here because he spent time with me when I was running for board, and he explained to me how the board ran and everything like that. So I want to thank you very much for that and the help for running on that. Then I thank you for this year. Thank you for me to be able to watch you and how things operated here and how things are supposed to be, and I appreciate everything you've done. Thank both of you all for everything you've done the past years for the board very much.
Let's take pictures.
Dan will take pictures. Can you and everybody in the picture?
Yep.
Everybody in there. Well, on the board. Don't even get
So we do have a special presentation for Mr. Whittington. This is your time ran out, so that clock is basically there.
I did set both of the clocks to 5:59, so it'll never hit 6 o'clock unless you put a battery in it.
I was never late. I was close. But this is a lifetime hospitality room pass. Hey, board members, come in. Let's grab a picture of you guys.
Yes, this
has worked its way in Frito chili pies.
We'll give you that too. So actually, Linda, why don't you come down here and tell us two birds with one stone?
You don't get a.
We could probably make a copy.
Brian had 15 years, is that right? Yes, Linda was 12 or 13, it was kind of.
11. Okay, and you started, it was like August of
Yeah.
11, I think.
You still
I
waiting
had
for
to dig through
Jamie
some files.
midway
to
through,
find
so it's 12 or 13?
Yeah.
I think we've got 12.
12.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Don. I expected more tears.
They were earlier when you showed up.
There might be a surprise for you later, so hang on those tears. Share that, right? What?
Item B is to recognize and hear from visitors or public participation.
Mr. Brian Williamson has signed in this off.
Oh, Lord. Hey, just to tell you, this is being streamed, so.
Oh, good. I figure it's been a year. I figure you guys need some constructive criticism. Want to say a couple things. Mr. Hogan's not here, that's unfortunate, but I did want to bring him into this. A little later today in the agenda, you're going to talk about the academic all-state. And it's been 4 years since we've had one in the district. We woulda, shoulda, coulda had another one in between there. But I wanted to say a little bit about that. Those things are really, really neat. We now have 16. We kind of picked them up after the turn of the century. Really, nobody knew about them in the 80s and 90s. They started actually my senior year. Nobody even heard about it. But since we kind of got started with them in the 2000s, we've had a pretty good run. And I think they're important to the district because it not only showcases our students and the ability that they have, but it also showcases what we're doing for them. And what I would tell you is the reason I wanted to talk is two things. One is to, if we can, challenge both our district and our parents at home to increase our awareness of what this is. And to get, there was a time where we had 8 out of 10 years. There's no reason why we can't do that again. Matter of fact, I'd love to see us have 20 by the year 2030. And we certainly have the talent of students to get there. But I think that, when they start to, and the last thing I want to do is put more on Mrs. Dixon's plate, But in the 7th grade, we start taking the ACT test. As a district, we can start focusing on those top dozen to 20 kids who take that test well. And maybe give them a little bit of information as they enter high school, because the clock starts as you enter high school. And a lot of these kids don't know about this until it's almost too late to start the process. What Academic All-State is, it's a 4-year resume. There's 3 criteria that you have to meet. But in order to get the award, it's much more than that. In reality, it's a crapshoot. They give out only 100 public school students, but they give out so many to 6As, they give out so many to 5As, they give out so many to 4As. So we get about anywhere from 12 to 16 academic all-staters in the 4A range. So we're competing for 12 or 16 spots with 48 other schools. So that's our competition. Some other schools get more than 1 student a year. That's our goal. I think we can do that. We certainly have the ability to do that. I just think it's something that as we start to take these tests in 7th grade, if we can get a little bit of more information to these parents at home to say, this is what it takes to get there. It's awesome to get it. I mean, it's now $1,500 scholarship. You get a medallion, you get a cord for graduation. But the most awesome thing is you get a picture on the wall. What I love, what they do at the high school. sits down there and it's permanent. And that feeling is awesome. So I just think that's something we need to really focus on, if we can. If some, you know, if there's families that's not their thing, that's fine. But there's families that are. I can tell you from number 13 to number 16 on that board, the only thing that's comparable in those resumes are the test score and their mother is a kicker. That's the only difference, the same between the two. Their resumes are vastly different. So there are many paths to getting academic All-State. But I can promise you it's really, really cool. Which leads me to my thank yous. On behalf of Brett, his teachers, starting with Miss Taylor in kindergarten, Miss Puckett, first grade, all the way up now, have been invaluable. But I want to thank three people, obviously. First and foremost is Kevin Hope. He has gone above and beyond. That would be an understatement to say he's gone above and beyond to help us get this award. Once we got to certain criteria, we put our foot down and said, we're going to go for this now. And he has done everything he possibly could to help us get there. Anything we needed, information, letters of recommendation, whatever we needed from teachers, whatever we needed from counselors. He's done it all. This award has been just as much as him as it is us. So a massive, massive thank you to Kevin. Another big thank you is to Rick Fisher. As a freshman, Brett was able to go through, along with some other students, to go with the help desk, and Rick Fisher was a big part of that, and it allows students to not only get a lot of volunteer hours, but it also gives them growth and responsibility, and it helps them grow in ways that they probably have never thought about doing, and that's just another way to forward along that resume building. It's not just all leadership and extracurricular, it's just internal growth as well, or about responsibility. But lastly, is to Brent Kellogg with the broadcasting crew. When Brett was a freshman, I told him to sit in the back of that Suburban with those away games and just shut up and listen to what those guys are saying. Part of that has been, I've been trying to unlearn some of that stuff.
Counseling.
A little therapy here and there. But, you know, and I know for the first year, there was probably 3 words. There was yes, no, maybe was the only thing he probably said. But I know he learned a lot, and I appreciate what you did for him and putting him under your wing and letting him learn and giving him the responsibility for that very expensive equipment that he may or may not break a couple times. But what you did for him was a big deal for his growing up, and so thank you. But that's really all I had to say. I just want to come and get the awareness out there that having 16 for us is a big deal. And personally, it's an awesome award. And so that's it. I'll let you guys do whatever it is you guys do.
Brian, thank you very much. Great, congratulations. Thank you. Really proud of you and the representation of the brand. So. Item C is our financial report.
So what I want to talk about tonight is we made the decision this last month. For one, we had an account that really was not being utilized. There was not money going into or coming out of that account, so that account was closed. The remaining balance was rolled up to our main checking account. And then secondly, our savings account. Right now, we're sitting about $6.6 million in our savings account. And RCB had approached me and asked about converting it to a money market account. We sat and talked about it for a long time. It's actually about 2% more in interest per month, which on that amount of money is a lot. And actually, this last month, that 2% equated to all that we had earned in interest on that account in the last year. The other thing I want to talk to you about is something else that RCB has kind of thrown out to us. Dr. Wilkins and I have kicked it around a little bit. Is instead of doing CDs, which are more long-term, they've talked to us about doing some CDARS accounts. Because I told them our biggest thing is making sure that the money is readily available, as we need it. Most of these are 4-week terms to where at the end of that 4 weeks, if we need to access the money, no problem. If we want to extend it and continue. So on those accounts, we're targeting about 4% more interest than what we're currently getting. And we wouldn't have to necessarily invest all of what we have, but we can even just do a portion of that. But just something to kind of consider. We haven't made a decision on it yet. We're kind of looking at all of our options as far as what we can do on that, but just to maximize earning potential for the district, to be able to do more. Does anybody have any questions?
Which one seems more feasible to you or to you all? Like you're saying, working with the one, it takes a 4-week turnaround, where the other one is 2% straight. And
well, we did actually go ahead and convert the savings account to a money market account, which is 2% more interest. But of that, we can also do some of these CDARS that would be an additional 2% in interest, just depending on how far we want to go on that.
So it's pretty easy to project how much, based on previous year's expenditures, it's pretty easy to project what we'll expend over the next several months. So what we can do is if we have that $6 million, we know what we're going to need, we can do, 2 million into one and 2 million into another, and then roll those and then pull one out, and then let the other one roll into the next month or whatever. So that way the money is available when we need it. And obviously, if we get halfway through the month and something bad happens, even money, we can pull it in, but penalize, we shouldn't get interest on that, so which we wouldn't get anyway. So I think our plan probably is to, maybe as we go into next year, or maybe even over the next couple of months, is to roll some of that, because this is kind of the time when we'll have some money. Whereas after the first of the year, that July, August, September is kind of it's when we have got a lot of money coming into the state, so it's a little leaner. But this time of year, we have a pretty good supply of money, so we roll that, it's just our money making money.
How often do we tap that?
Do we tap what else?
That savings account,
This time of year, not a lot. When I put money into savings, when I move it in January when we get that big hit from the county. But I try to leave enough in checking that, we can get through the next several months of payroll, but I'm not constantly every month, dipping into it. Because obviously that account is now bringing us more interest. But as we go into the summer months, because we have all back-to-back payrolls, we're closing things out for the year, we do tend to dip into it more.
how low does it get? It's at 6 million now. Does it get below 5? Does it get below 3?
It
How
will
can you
get
get
below
into-
that. You look at what your carryover is for the year. Last year we were just over 1.7, so.
That's as low as it gets? Or,
No, it will get lower than that because part of that's in checking.
so you can use a big chunk?
Yes.
Chunk of it, okay.
Yes.
And we have a relationship with one bank?
RCB?
Yes.
Oh, yes, with a single bank.
Yes. I should know if we ever farm that out or like.
Well, so
we
with the
contribute
amount of
to
money that we have in there, each month, the securities have to be pledged to cover, anything over what the FDIC is going to insure. So, there are other banks involved, but we only deal directly with RCB.
But on the CDARS accounts, they actually outsource those.
They do,
right?
yes.
They have a third party vendor that they use.
I've just been on other boards where we're like, if we know we're gonna have $2 million, hey, we're looking at that $2 million money market and you take bids on that and whoever gives you the most, and once they know their competition, it does benefit you. I'm not saying we do that, I think we're tapping into it a lot of them.
Right, because it would be definitely a short term, like I said, maybe from February, March, April, May, maybe those 4 months are kind of where.
That's the draw on that versus doing just a traditional CD. It's just a shorter term on it.
No, that's, if we maintain $2 million in an account, 365 days a year, you could get a little competitive. That's all I'm going after. Any other questions?
Well, one of the things so to consider is we don't know yet, once the funding based upon the COVID funds and things like that, what effect that might have going forward, because there will be some less funding that has been going on the last couple, 3 years now. And so
I do see what you're saying, but yes and no, because most of the COVID funding was money in, money out. You know, they were one-time expenditures, and so that, yes, it did help us make some purchases on some things that we needed, that we didn't have to dip into the general fund for, but that is not going to be an every year expense. I really tried, starting in November, to do projections every single month based on estimated needs, what we brought in, what's gone out, and pretty steady since November. We've been around 1.6 to 1.7 million is what we're looking to carry over.
Okay. Item E is principal's report. That's it, D.
Amanda, were you gonna, did you have something presented, or were you just gonna talk about the stuff on down? Okay. Okay.
So D, there's nothing on the principal or director report. Okay. Item E.
With Mr. Pope not here, he ended up at Fort Gibson. So I apologize, we will bring you back next month because we'll have our balance house here next month also.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he wasn't able to get everybody around.
I don't know about calendar.
Well,
You know, I
Other than the honor you're talking about?
You get me tonight. You had to bribe me to get me here tonight.
we may have sandwiches or something.
I'm more along the liquid. I heard.
The part of that, we have a long list of valedictorian school tours this year, which is incredible.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Brett at the top of that, just being an academic also.
So they're doing vows next month anyway? So you're getting back there twice? You didn't tell me this.
You're right, go on the
Planned it that way then. Thank you.
We're good. Item F is our assistant superintendent's report, professional development, federal programs, and teaching money.
Hey, good evening. If you'll go to federal programs, I'll start there just because we spoke on it briefly. So, Bree does a great job on the financial side of federal programs. I'll go in and ask questions from time to time. Dr. Wilkins pulls everyone in, directors, principals, and we talk about the budget. So to kind of brag on both of them, and then to answer your question, Mr. Tice, if you look there, we have $213,000 left of ESSER money, and it's all allocated. So I feel like we've done a good job of, like Bree said, making sure that that was, for the most part, money in, money out. So some of those items will be, like NWA, for example, will be something that we will have to go back to spending our own money on, not ESSER money on, but the majority of those purchases were one-time purchases, which are good to help us save money. So, and then the second bullet there, if you will look, I printed this for you, but we finally received, and it looks different than it did a couple of years ago, but our desk monitor audit that we did this year, this is the document that shows their responses. So we were compliant with everything. It is totally different. They used to do kind of they would go, there's roughly 130 different indicators. They would give you a green if you were in compliance, a yellow if you needed to do something for them, or a red if you're not in compliance. That was before they put it all in GMS. So this is a print off right off of GMS. And so now it's a yes, no, or an NA. And all of ours were yes or NA. Any questions on that? Okay, talk about professional development. We will next month, be seeking approval from you for the 23-24 PD plan. It will include a lot of trainings, more so than any of the PD plans. I think maybe COVID year when we did a lot of online trainings. I think maybe I could compare it to that. But the reason being is we are trying to make improvements. Really, if you look at what we're doing with literacy in our district, I've talked with several other districts. No one's doing what we're getting ready to do or what we're currently doing. Everyone is doing what the state minimum requirement is, and that's the whole science of reading legislation that came out, and that's just elementary. We're taking that a step further, we're doing all of our secondary too. And so I'm hitting PD and teaching and learning here, but I'm proud of our people, and proud of our work so far. You will get a PD plan to approve, and then the following month, our goal is in May to present to you a literacy plan, a district literacy plan. So a lot of things we're looking at. There are, and I gave this to you, I think, last month, but there's a list of state required options of trainings that you can do. And so our subcommittees are out looking at that, and those do just touch at the lower and the upper elementary levels, not the secondary levels. But we're looking at lexiles and quantiles and how we can use those better within NWEA, something we already use. Just a lot. And so I'm excited about it because I think that it will move the needle, and it'll give us more kids that will be coming before you with high scores on ACTs. But it starts in those buildings down there, and then we work our way up. So teachers are on this, on these planning committees. Our principals are on it. We have people who are ready to go to work and are going to work on it. So I'm looking forward to that. Any questions on anything? I have nothing on top of mind, so it's always good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody.
Gotta brag a little bit while we're still on that. That dust monitor was a pretty huge undertaking for Tony, and he jumped in there and closed the door for a few weeks and just knocked it out. It was good. And then the steps that our team is taking on the teaching and learning piece is amazing. And it's groundwork stuff. It's stuff that, well, it's being built on top of what has been done over the past several years, but the dividends that we'll see over the next several years are going to be amazing. It's a lot of work from a lot of people, for sure, but they're doing a good job of pulling together a lot of different stuff and doing a lot of really good planning, a lot of good work. So, and I know it's kind of not one of those things that's pretty on a Friday night with the lights out there to see, but the stuff going on in the classrooms will continue to improve, for sure.
Item G is our timeline compliance report, which was included in the assistant superintendent report, which brings us to item H, our superintendent's report.
So two things. One, I was going to do a legislative update until I pulled up all the legislation that's still going on, and it was 32 pages long. So decided to just wait until, because there's still a lot of legislation work to be done, and so we'll hold off. We'll give it another month or so and see kind of some of the bills get weeded out. House bill was talked about, the House budget, education budget. They're looking at, of course, adding some money that obviously benefits smaller schools. There's been a lot of discussion around that from big schools, little schools, between big schools and little schools about because they cap the amount that would go to schools at about $2 million for us. If it goes through, it would be about 1. I've seen two different projections. One said about 1.2, one said about 1.4. So I'm not sure where that would end up, but it would be just general revenue money, an extra $1 million for us, which we would put toward some of that teaching and learning stuff. We already have some ideas. We already have that money spent about 40 minutes. Right. So that's okay. And then, of course, it would include a pay increase for our teachers. So anything that's additional, we'll be excited to get. We'll see how it shakes out. There's still, like I said, there's still a lot of legislation to go. Construction has begun. The work at the high school gym has begun. That corner up there, So that's inside that corner room. They have everything pulled out of there. There was a boiler, there was HVAC units, there's big, whatever, cleaning stuff. So all of that is taken out of there. The construction company's done a really good job of kind of the area downstairs and around it. They built some temporary walls down there in that corner, keep kids out, keep stuff from getting out on the floor, keep everything contained up there. So it'll be good to see as that progresses. I'm trying to find my pictures here. Yeah, so you can see they kind of have all that stuff pulled out in that corner up there. I did have Brady, they took down some of these banners that you can see up in this area up here. I had them take those down so they wouldn't get destroyed because some more state stuff on it. But that whole area up there is, they're getting after it, so they're doing a good job. And I think Wednesday they're supposed to start trying to take down the cinder block walls, and then probably over the weekend we'll start jackhammering out the concrete. So that'll be the noisiest part. Just trying to make sure that it's safe and then it's functional for our kids while we're still in school. So, anyway, I think that's all that.
They're still in progress doing most of this during the spring break.
That's the goal. And yeah, they're moving toward that. Like I said, we went over today and they've got it all walled off. Our guys moved that end set of bleachers that were up there by it. They were going to charge us like $4,000. So Dwight and Rick and all those guys just got under there and started looking and figured out how to take it all apart and rolled it out. And so told them to buy them all that or something.
But will it be put back?
One step, yeah, that's what, yeah. They'll charge us, yeah. Our guys will charge us $6,000. No, but anyway, so a lot of good stuff.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Section 3 would be our consent agenda. These items may be approved by one board motion unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items. Included is item A, discussion and consideration for the approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting on February 13th of 2023. Item B is discussion and consideration for the approval of the following warrants and encumbrances. General fund encumbrances 340 through 361. General fund warrants 2152 through 2541. Building fund encumbrances 90. Building fund warrants 393 through 462. Building bond fund encumbrances 38 through 183. And building bond fund warrants. Discussion and consideration for approval of financial reports, which is general fund, building bond funds, and activity funds. Item D is discussion and consideration for the approval of the following activity fund transfers, 38 to 52. Item D is discussion and consideration for the approval of the following fundraiser requests: Mustang Volleyball Camp, March 21st and 22nd of 2023. And item F is discussion and consideration for the approval of the following out-of-state or overnight field trips request: OHS Speech and Debate to Rose State on April 12th through 15th of 2023. OHS FCCLA State Star Competition in Stillwater, Oklahoma, March 21st to 23rd of 2023. And OHS FCLA State Convention, Stillwater, Oklahoma, April 5th and 6th, 2023. Is there any item that any board member would want to vote on separately? I would entertain a motion regarding the consent agenda.
Move that we approve consent agenda items A through F as stated.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Record show the consent agenda has been approved. Which moves us to section 4, the administrative. Item A is recommendation, consideration, and action on approving updates to Oologah-Talala Public School Board of Education Policy CFBB, sanctioning of parent organizations and booster clubs.
I think Ms. Bay is going to talk to us just for a minute about this. I didn't go through this policy today, previous today, but then went back through it today.
Okay, thank you for having me. Pretty similar to the current policy that we have in place. It's just in addition to, basically it outlines that they have to go through a full application process, turning in things that are relevant to their club. in order to be sanctioned for the following year. I'd also like to move the date, I think right now, they turn in all of their booster club stuff in May. I would like to align that with the fiscal year for the school, closing it out on June 30th. So essentially, there are 7 items that are required for the application. One is obviously the application, a cash flow statement, a balance sheet, bank statement, bank reconciliation, copy of signature cards, just more information for me, and everyone else as far as Open Meeting Act and, things that we need to make sure that we're transparent on signed statement of financial records, so they have to have an accountant go through, whether it's somebody within their club or just a second set of eyes, essentially checks and balances, list of cash and non-cash payments. So if football coaches want to hold camp and they're paying their coaches, they either need to run it through a payroll or submit a 1099, and they have to submit copies of that if that's the route that they choose to go. And then of course bylaws along with the application and things of that nature, just for better documentation and transparency at the end of the day. I did bring a copy of the cash flow statement and application if you guys would like to see that. But that pretty much is the extent of the updated booster club policy. And that basically just, the new policy outlines the 7 components that are required to turn into the application.
We get this through OSSBA.
So, we got our OSSBA policy.
Yes, and so it was borrowed from my previous districts, and it was approved through OSSBA, so it's, like I said, there's a lot of similarities in the current policy.
Had attorney eyes been on it, that's all I'm
Yes.
asking. So,
Yes.
And are we approving this policy tonight?
Yes, sir. Just to echo what Amanda said, it's just more transparency, which is what we've been trying to do with everything we're doing, including the live streaming this, and just trying to keep everything open, so.
How many booster clubs we have? I think everything's got one.
Very close. There have been a few interests in starting some for other athletic activities also. So, for example, the veterans ministry track, golf. A lot of my questions are sustainability and the amount of parent involvement that we'll have with some of those, just because there's some of those sports are much smaller numbers than others.
Sure.
So, that's always my big question or hesitation when I ask about that. So,
Do we know offhand how many we have?
you know,
Breezy, you know, chance? How many booster clubs?
I just don't have enough involvement in that, because it's more on the activity side, so.
So, no, we don't know.
And that, so they're all their own entity, right?
Yes.
But it falls under your,
Correct.
obviously, so we're approving each club, right? Like, will we,
You approve the sanctioning of
at
each
each
club.
club?
Yeah.
Right.
And that can be pulled at any time, request financial records at any point, or if there's something, that we need more information on, request that information.
This, I feel like this gives the board more teeth. Questions?
Yes,
The only question is, does this need to be a first read since it's, in addition to the policy or since it's just an amendment? Can it be approved?
I think you can be approved.
So according to Julie Miller of the OSSBA, you do not have to do a first read any longer. You can choose to first read it and approve it all at the same meeting.
Okay. Just make sure we're-
We checked on that last year on something.
Yes, sir.
We have 13.
13 sanctioned clubs. Yeah, 13.
All right, entertain a motion on item A.
I would move to approve the updates to the OTPS Board of Education policy, CFPB sanctioning of parent organizations and booster clubs.
Discussion? Questions?
and these would take effect
This will be taking effect going into 23-24.
Hearing none, vote please.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
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 Thank you, Miss May. Appreciate your work, and looks like herding cats. I like cats, looks like herding cats. Item B, recommendation, consideration, and action on approving school closure leave for support personnel.
Read me speak to this.
So this is something that is always kind of a hot topic, is usually weather leave, as it relates to support personnel. And so what I did was I talked to several other districts, just trying to find kind of a happy medium for what we can do. To kind of take care of our support people, because as far as certified employees, they don't have to take leave on weather days. But for our support people, they're either having to make the time up or use their personal days to cover that. And sometimes that's really hard. So we did talk to several other districts as far as kind of what they do. For support employees, we do have a couple options so that it's not viewed as gifting public funds. And this was kind of a combination of a policy from Bartlesville and Collinsville, is what we came up with here.
I would entertain a motion on item B.
I will move that we approve the school closure leave for support personnel in the new policy that's presented to us.
Second.
Discussion? Have we had attorney guys go over this?
Did you send that to the attorney?
No, I haven't.
Do we know an estimated cost of what?
That's gonna be a hard one to say.
I mean, it
honestly.
varies by year to year, right?
Correct,
Sure.
correct.
Just when you talked about the gifting funds thing, that's where I just wanted to make sure that I don't have to come see you in prison.
I don't look good in orange, so.
Everybody looks good. Any other discussion, questions?
And we can run it through, I mean, I can send it to John and you just need approval if you want to hold off on it. So I'm gonna do.
I mean, it came from two. I mean, my question is, are you comfortable with, I mean, I
Yeah,
know
we-
how
so
we
we
spend
institute-
dollars is really,
Yeah, so we instituted something like this when I was in Dewey.
Sure.
And it was, I mean, we made sure it was legal and it was just a way to help our support people.
Absolutely.
We were telling them to not come to school
Right.
because it was bad weather. So, I mean, like I said, we had done it there and it was legal. But something's changed in the last 10 years.
vote please.
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
item is approved. Item C, recommendation, consideration, and action on approving contract with MAS for student information systems and financial accounting system.
This is the program that we use, not only we use it in this office for all of our financial software, but then also our student information system. I think Dan has done a great job this year of really enhancing how we use this program. There was a lot of stuff that we were paying for that we weren't using. And we'll roll off this state here in these days. These ladies have done a great job of really kind of putting that program to use.
Entertaining a motion on item C.
I move to approve the contract with MAS for student information system and financial accounting system.
Second.
Is there discussion? Vote please.
Yes.
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 Sorry, I voted, I'm sorry, we are all votes yes. Item D is board discussion regarding athletic policies and procedures and fan participation regulations at athletic events. And just some personal comments, just some events that have happened. conversation with Dr. Wilkins, I feel like it's really important that we as a board, and this is just discussion, don't know that there's any action that's going to be taking place. Is it appropriate for me to ask Ms. May to present kind of what transpired at swimming? Because as an organization, we were on, not probation is not the right word, but I would let her kind of share the story, which is probably one of the catalysts about why this conversation came about.
Okay. So at the state swim meet, we had a situation where a parent was removed from the swim meet for what OSJ has called egregious behavior. So they have submitted, or after receiving reports from the officer on duty, it does appear that the actions of one of your fans did rise to the level of egregious behavior and violates board policy 5. So basically, they are serving us as our first warning for the egregious act policy, which basically says that a second act could put the swim team in jeopardy of forfeiting the remainder of their season. Since it happened on the last day of the state tournament or the state swim meet, it rolls over to the following year. So essentially, we've been placed on warning. If something were to happen during our swim season for swim, for the swim team, then we could be at jeopardy of forfeiting the rest of our season, the remainder of our season at whatever point. So that would mean qualifying for state, regionals, any type of tournament, we would forfeit that as well, which is pretty disappointing. It's embarrassing on our part, but at the same time, I would like to, correct it so that we can avoid this type of situation happening again.
I think what Amanda's, if you want to show them that,
Oh, yes.
she's reading this is the letter that we received from the Secondary Schools Athletic Activities Association. It's our official reprimand.
I don't know about you guys. I want better for our district. You can see the policy. This is current policy, correct?
I think mine is, there's highlighted.
Bottom where it talks about, So, I know it's here in front of us. Maybe just walk through, like, first offense, second offense, third offense. I know we can read, but.
Sure. So as our current policy stands, we have 3 different offenses. The first offense basically outlines the spectator has to schedule a meeting with myself, athletic director, and then be presented in writing with suspension of 1 week, so 7 days, regardless of how many matches are played that particular week. And then it occurs on the last week. It could roll over to the athlete's next sport or the following year. The second offense, basically, same thing, has to schedule a meeting with myself and the principal to be presented in writing the suspension for the remainder of the season. And then the third offense is basically schedule a meeting with the athletic director. That person would be suspended for 1 calendar year.
I just personally, can't speak for the whole board, personally want to have their back in dealing with this, that we set the expectation, set the code of conduct, for what we anticipate, for people to show up and support our kids, and it's not just a Oologah thing, it has begun to deteriorate across the United States, and as there's a shortage of officials, because they don't want to subject themselves to this. And I just think it's important for us to have a discussion on things like this. So let's discuss. Thoughts?
I will say, just in collaboration with some of the local athletic directors, Tulsa, talked with anywhere from 6A down to 2A. This isn't just an Oologah problem. This is everywhere. I know that talking to OSA, we're the 9th school that they've had to put on degrees on warning essentially in the state of Oklahoma this year. So it is a way to crack down. Unfortunately, you know, in this situation, it was a fan, and you know, it's coming down to our kids affecting our students and our athletes, and I think that's what is the most disappointing in my mind.
As a board, what else, I mean, wherever you're back, I mean, for one thing, but the second thing is, what else would you want from us to help you guys to support this? Because, I mean, I'm embarrassed for a few things that happened this year. The basketball games won. Totally embarrassed about that. I don't care who you are or where you're from. You're an old-time Oologah person. That's embarrassing. That's just right out stupid that people do that. So whatever you need from us, I personally got you back 100%, and I don't mind whatever I got to do, because I want our school to be respectful and be proud of it, instead of these old-time Oologah-Talala that, you know, act like fools.
So I did put a sentence down at the bottom. I'd like to kind of rework that somewhat, but basically I just like to, you know, reserve the right for administration to, you know, essentially suspend, ban, dismiss anyone who wants to continue to abuse the policy. You know, I just feel like, you know, it ranges from 6-month bans. I've seen 7 days, I've seen 30 days, I've seen 2 games, I've seen 10 games, remainder of the season. One suggestion they threw out was a sportsmanship conduct video. All of our coaches have to watch certain videos off of NFHS every year. If they do get ejected, there's a certain video they pay $40, and they have to do that within 7 days. So something kind of similar to that before they can even sit down and meet with me, or principals or administration to, you know, basically tell their side. So that's kind of some of the suggestions that they've been doing. Essentially sending letters out from superintendent, athletic directors, things of that nature, just so they get it in formal as well.
I think given the situation with the board, you know, it's, we're in, we cannot gather together and just talk about this and things without it being a board agenda and being something to approve and or a vote on one way or the other and things like that. So what we need probably, and the way we best could help you, is information brought to us asking that we enact certain things, you know, policies, procedures, things of that nature of how you would like to be able to proceed in the way you best feel you could do that and so forth. Bring that to the board as a presentation about this is what we'd like to do. Then at that point, under this type of a setting, we could discuss that and make suggestions or changes and things of that nature, and then approve. Once it becomes a board policy, then it would enable you to enforce that and have the support of the board in the district in the fact that that is a policy and so forth. So I think that's, from my perspective, that's how we best could help you is
yes, sir.
If you could provide us with what you need, what you see as
Okay.
But
changes.
that's kind of what you got drawn out here, correct? Is it, I mean,
Is that the
Somewhat.
existing policy?
Do I-
This is currently the existing policy?
This
that
is
we
the
have in
current
place?
policy. I did have a highlighted
Area.
version at the very end that basically kind of gave power back to the admin if we see fit, if it kind of supersedes, you know, the general, just not agreeing with the referee or the official call or, you know, some of those things, but they definitely would like to have something a little more.
Well, I can have Amanda, I mean, we can get a hold of all those ADs and kind of see what other schools have and pull that together and have her come back in a month or two and present. Here's whether we keep what we have or whether we make the changes or whatever, bring that back and we can discuss it then and go from there.
Right, and then we can take action based upon, at this point, all we can do is discuss.
Sure.
And I put this on, this is on the agenda because I feel like we've had 2 recent events in recent history. And I don't, you probably have more organizational history, but like, we've had, now I know we've had fans lose their stuff, but like, I've got yellow flags going. And I just think, it's important we have the discussion. I think it's important we commission her to do some work because I want them to know that we have their back.
But I think it's important that we have information based upon how we proceed according to what OSSAA, OSSPA, things like that, that what are the regulations, what are the guidelines and things like that, and that we're in accordance with that, then we have some means of support for the decision that we're making. It's not an arbitrary decision that we're making, but it's based upon the fact that this is what the policy is statewide, things of that nature. So, to me, that's the best procedure we can go through to help you is be able to have policies that we could approve that says this is what happens if should this occur.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on this back page that we have, you have stuff highlighted. Is that stuff you're adding to the policy, or is that already in the policy?
That was an addition.
So tonight, you're asking us to approve this addition?
No, I'm not taking action. This is a conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. And I feel like the conversation is to no action, but to commission her. Yeah, we
Something
want,
needs to happen.
I mean, if anybody's in disagreement with that, speak now, but like, it's to, I feel like this has become an issue, and I feel like we want to see some action and some policy, probably with attorney eyes on it and so on and so forth, so. Anything else, Linda, you got anything you add, or not to call anybody out, but just give an opportunity? Or good, Don, good? Good. Thank you, guys, I feel like the conversation to have.
Here's your letter. I mean, here's your letter.
All right, so section 5 is personnel. Item A is a proposed executive session to discuss the resignations, hirings of personnel, and/or extra duty assignments pursuant to 25 OS section 307B1 and 7. We'll be able to meeting law items will be discussed on hiring Kevin Ho, Scott Doss, Kelly Gibson, Luna P, Kendra Atkins, Terry Hutchins, Christy York, Amanda May, Brady Despain, Richard Fisher, Tammy Jenkins, Jeff Clutch, Claude Shears, Cindy Lois, Leslie Donovan, Brandon Rogers, Dennis McGuire. Resignations are Hester Burton and Chris Johnson.
Move that we enter into executive session.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
Yes. Record show, we are in executive session. Thank you guys for being here. If you're leaving at this point, we appreciate you being here.
There's 3 tornado post-tornado.
Let's make that clear.
Doing good. I'm leaving. You don't get to. Tell you a long time. I know some of these nights, Brian had a great night, but yeah. Oh, I love when I went to town hall. 11:30 was very
I had a guy sit around me, Jim basketball.
Last time I was.
Her and I told him, I said, that's enough.
An hour, and I thought, I'm starving. So I texted Brady.
You're gone.
Gosh,
Nailed it.
come. And so I got hold of David. Oh, good. Well, it's good to see you. Are you going to get your Bible study on the 14th?
Yes.
This is his voice.
Thank you, sir.
I work like 9 hours a week.
So tell me this, are you
Not
Not yet, I don't know why it's yet.
Thank you.
Trying to get away with you.
How many hours?
Can I send that picture to us? Yeah, well, we need her number.
60 hours.
Yeah, we need her number. Hey.
My father-in-law used to, we were like,
Got a job for him? He's for hire. Yes, you are. You work, so they're really cheap. They're gonna need summer stuff. Just volunteer, right? So we can get his volunteer in and done.
He was a little worried.
Same time,
So I was crying because she thinks we're He's
A thousand, are you talking
it's
about for
perfect.
like
He's
your
like
leadership?
shaking.
Yeah.
Trying to get the fuel to go in there. So
Oh, I thought it was awesome. I don't think it's that much.
They got a yard.
You should probably call it.
Just two
signed in as a guest.
I did not send my cover page for you, see?
Oh.
Well
Play. Well played.
What's her cover page then? Last one. She'll miss it.
I'll miss you guys, I will. I'll miss you guys.
All right. It's good, though.
It's frigid in here.
It's cold in here, and I didn't touch anything. Item B, acknowledge that the board has returned to open session. Item C is while in executive session, Linda Runner, Robert Howard, Don Tyson, Kelly, and Joe Custer. We're in executive session along with Superintendent Dr. David Wilkins. There were no votes taken, no decisions were made. Item D is to vote to accept or not accept the submitted resignations of Hester Burton and Chris Johnston.
Move that we accept the resignations of Hester Burton and Chris Johnston.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 Item E is motion and vote to approve or not approve the hiring of the following administrators for the 23-24 school year. Kevin Hogue, the high school principal, Scott Doss, the high school assistant principal, Kelly Dixon, the middle school principal, Jimmy Upkey, middle school assistant principal, Kendra Atkins, the upper elementary principal, Sherry Hutchison, upper elementary assistant principal, Christy York, the lower elementary principal.
I move that we postpone the hiring of principals until next month. We move it to the following month's agenda.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 Records show that item E has been tabled. Item F is motion and vote to approve or not to approve the hiring of the following directors for the 23-24 school year. Amanda May, Athletic Activities Director, Brady Despain, Director of Operations, Richard Fisher, our Technology Director, Tammy Jenkins, Child Nutrition Director, Jeff Buck, Transportation Director, Overseers and Maintenance Director.
Move that we approve the hiring of the directors as listed for the 2023-2024 school year.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 The suspense was killing me. Item F is approved. Item G, motion and vote to approve or not approve the central office employees as listed. Cindy Lovelace, Leslie Dunnett, Brianna Rogers, and Dan McGuire.
I move that we approve the hiring of the central office employees as listed.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 Motion G has passed, and item 6 is new business. There's no new business. Item 7 is vote, or a motion and vote to adjourn.
So made.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
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 Last one, I should have let you do the gavel thing.
Okay. I never did the gavel thing in 12 years, I'm good?
You never did the gavel?
Never did the gavel thing.
You dodged that.
I know, I'm-
You do enough gavel for everyone. I've never struck the gavel as much as
Yeah.
you can after. I'm just kidding. I got to tap those on
Man,
those
those
doesn't it? Right.
man this room. Thank you all for your attendance.
Can you slide a check down there where you signed it, please?
What?
You got blue. Does it need to be blue? Does it need to be blue?
Woohoo! Nothing for me. Nothing for me. Didn't even get to sign my name, huh?
Good orange.
I'll bring my prints over there.
Okay.
Awesome. It's all on YouTube anyway.
Is that shut off?
Well, it's muted.
Shut
Muted.
I think it was
Had people send me these screenshots of me.
I still don't have that.
You're angry, you're darn right.
Very clever.
And I'm glad it pointed out too. That was phenomenal.
Very clever.
I love that.
Is that all? You're so low maintenance today. Do you feel okay? Do you remember a puppy on your way to work this morning, or what?
No, but have you ever driven a school bus?
Yeah. Not bus 18.
No.
Hey, I rode bus 2 when I was in school.
Hi, Dawn, thanks for being here.
No, I got bus 3.
See you next time.
Okay, bye y'all.
Here's your, box.
This is really clever.
Okay.
$5.59.
Fort Gibson, 1-0.
Let's go!
That is phenomenal. Fort Gibson.